she needs to withdraw. It's your fault you changed your schedule. If you kept chemistry instead of physics, you would have been fine. And the class average was a 42. Yeah, but they don't curve. Does he curve? So then you failed. I got 113. I got all 18 out of 18 words. But that's not homework, that's right away. No, just text it. No, but I'm talking about the joke. And you have to find that. What else? Yo, just have him sit up there. Jay, just have him sit up there. Yeah. What do you mean? Just sit up there. They posted the channel before. Oh, there's only 2 people. Yo, Krishna, you gotta beat up Eddie. What are you guys learning? Energy?
No. Isn't it rotations?
I don't know, I do it differently. I'm doing energy.
I'm pretty sure it's rotations.
Whatever, man. Physics is a joke. Chemistry was definitely harder than that. Jay, are we doing the closets today? Huh? Yo. Jay, are we doing the closets today? The closets? Damn, I just farted. So bad.
So કેદી તમને ન ભૂલીએ હરી. કામ ક્રોધ ને લોભ કુમતિ મોહ વ્યાપી ને ન હરે મતી. તમને ભજનારું જે પડે માટીએ તમને નવનડે. એટલું માટીએ છીએ અમે. દેશો દયા કરી હરી તમે. વળી ના માગીએ અમે જે તમે સુણી લેજો હરી તે. કેદી દેશોમાં દેહાભિમાન જેણે કરી વિસરો ભગવાન. કેદી કુસકનો સંગમાં દેજો અધર્મ થકી ઉગારી લેજો. કેદી દેશોમાં સંસારી સુખ દેશોમાં પ્રભુ વાસ વિમુખ. દેશોમાં પ્રભુ જગ મોટાઈ મધમ સરઈ રસકાઈ. દેશોમાં દેહ સુખ સંયોગ દેશોમાં હરિજનનો વિયોગ. દેશોમાં હરિજનનો અભાવ. દેશોમાં અહંકારી સ્વભાવ. દેશોમાં સંગ નાસ્તિકનો રાય. મેલી તમને જે કર્મને ગાય. એ આદિ નથી માગતા અમે. દેશોમાં દયા કરી હરિ તમે. પછી બોલ્યા શ્યામ સુંદર જાઓ આપ્યો તમને વર. મારી માયા નહીં પૂજાઓ દેહાથી તમારી બંધાઓ. મારી ક્રિયામાં નહીં આવે દોષ. મને સમજો સદાય દોષ. એમ કહ્યું થઈ રળિયાત. સૌએ સત્ય કરી માની વાત. સદાનંદ સ્વામી મહારાજની જય. સ્વામિનારાયણ નામ લે છે તેના બધા પાતક વાળી દે છે. છે નામ મારા સ્તુતિમાય અનેક સર્વોપરી રાજ ગણાય. આવે પણ મૂર્તિ લેશે. ષડક્ષરો છે સઠશાસ્ત્ર સાર, તે તો ઉતારે ભવસિંધુ પાર. છ ઋતુમાં દિવસે નિશાળે, સર્વ ક્રિયામાં સમરો સદાય. પવિત્ર દેહે અપવિત્ર દેહે, તે નામ નિત્ય સમરો જ સ્નેહે. જડે કરીને તન્મેલ જાય, આ નામથી અંતર શુદ્ધ થાય. તેણે મહાપાપ ગયા અનંત, જેણે પીડ્યા બ્રાહ્મણને સંત. તે સ્વામિનારાયણ નામ લેતા, તાજી મરે છે મુક્તિ ગયેલા. શ્રી સ્વામિનારાયણ નામ સાર, છે પાપને તે પ્રગટાવનાર. પાપી ઘણું અંતર હોય તેનું, ગયા વિના કેમ રહે જ તેનું. ગયા વિના કેમ રહે જ તેનું. સદાન સ્વામી મહારાજની નમન હું કરું વિશ્વ બાળને. કર ગઈ કહું ભક્તિ બાળને. અરજ મારી પૂર માધરો, વિપત મારી શ્રી હરિ હરો. અવર આશરો મારે નથી, સર્વજનને સુખ હું કરી. કઠણ કાળમાં આપ છો ધણી, સુખદ શામળા મુક્ત નામણી. અમર નામથી આસ તારી, રસિક રાખજો લાજ મારી. પ્રણત પાળજો વિશ્વના વિભો, દીન દયાળ છો સર્વના પ્રભુ. વિમળ મૂર્તિ પૂરમાં વસો, જગતથી પ્રભુ દૂરના વસો. અધિક ત્રાસને તોડી નાખજો, આ બ્રહ્માનંદને પાસ રાખજો. આ દીન દાસને પાસ રાખજો. સદાન સ્વામી મહારાજની.
સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી
સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ. સ્વામી નારાયણ
સજાનંદ સ્વામી મહારાજની જય. પોરાયાવો મારા લે રખડા લેરી
ઓરાયાઓ મારા રે રખડા લેરી.
સારું ને જગવેરી
કીધું તમ સારું ને જગવેરી. ઓરાયાઓ મારા રે રખડા લેરી. કાજુ લઉં તમ જામા જર કસિયા.
हमारे प्रीत बंधानी रे
Put the mic to your mouth.
श्याम संगे
You were singing the same.
You were singing the same.
The mic is this much.
There was no voice coming out.
No.
Keep it close, keep it close.
At 90 degrees, I won't, but if you don't sing in the mic,
Right.
Yeah, you can, exactly.
Yes, Hardik, go.
I can't keep doing that.
I was speaking in the mic though.
No, you were down.
The mic is always like this. I don't know what you guys are all deaf. All you are deaf.
All of you are deaf.
No, but it wasn't coming out.
I was speaking like this. This is how I always sing. I always sing like
Look,
this.
Anyways.
everybody says.
Okay, but I'm singing just like this. I'm not doing this.
Anyway,
I don't understand what the problem is.
It's your problem. Sing.
हमारे प्रीत
Yeah, there's the lucky
बंधानी रे श्यामरिया संगे
Mare
प्रीत बंधानी रे चामड़िया संगे
हमारे प्रीत बंधानी रे श्यामरिया संगे
હવે નિમક તમે લો રે નટવરની નારા
હવે નિમક તમે લો રે
નટવરને નારા હવે નિમકવરને નારા નંદનો રે પ્રભુને અતિ પ્યારા મારે ગીત બંધાણી રે સાવણિયા સંગે
તમે ભાવે ભજીયો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું
તમે ભાવે ભજીલો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું કલ્યાણનું કરજો કલ્યાણ જીવન થોડું રહ્યું એને જીલેલા કોલને ભૂલી ગયા જૂઠી માયાના મોહમાં ઘેરા થયા તમે ભાવે ભજીલો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું તમે ભાવે ભજીલો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું બાળ ગણ જુવાની મારતું ગયું નહીં ભક્તિ માર્ગમાં પગલું ભર્યું તમે ભાવે ભજીલો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું તમે ભાવે ભજીલો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું પછી ગડબડમાં ગોવિંદ ભજાશે નહીં લોભ વૈભવ ધન ધજાશે નહીં તમે ભાવે ભજીલો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું તમે ભાવે ભજીલો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું જરા ચેતીને ભક્તિનું વાતું કરો जियो भगवान जीवन थोड़ું રહ્યું
તમે ભાવે ભજીયો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું
તમે ભાવે ભજીયો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું
એ જ કેવું આકાશનું દિલમાં કરો
એ જ કહેવું આ દાસનું દિલમાં ધરો
ચિતરાથી ઘનશ્યામને સ્નેહે સ્મારો
ચિત્ત રાખી ઘનશ્યામને સ્નેહે સ્મરો
જાનો જાતો ભાતીનો સુખાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું
તમે ભાવે ભજીયો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું
તમે ભાવે ભજીયો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું
તમે ભાવે ભજીયો ભગવાન જીવન થોડું રહ્યું આવી અક્ષરધામથી અવનીમાં જે દેહધારી થયા આપ્યા સુખ અપાર ભક્તજનને દિલે ધરીને દયા કીધા ચારુ ચરિત્ર ગાન કરવા જેને કરુણા કરી વંદુ મંગળ મૂર્તિ ઉર્ધરી સર્વોપરી શ્રી હરિ સર્વોપરી શ્રી હરિ શ્રી સહજાનંદ સ્વામી મહારાજની જય શ્રી હરિ કૃષ્ણ મહારાજની જય જય સ્વામી So as I was reading Kayani number 4, which is the Vajram that we're on, I personally, due to lack of my knowledge and understanding, thought that it was going to be very hard for me to deliver that Vajram. So, and I honestly didn't have time to prepare it in detail either. So what I kind of thought we would do is combine 4 and 5, and I try to find a link between the two. Hopefully, I can try to explain it the way I understood it, and then all you guys can try to help me understand it better and help ourselves understand it better, and correct me if I'm wrong. So. Before we begin, I'm just going to give a gist of Kayani 4, and then we'll discuss a little more detailed Kayani number 5. So In the 7th year of 1877, on 8th day of dark half of the month of Ashwin, Shiji Maharaj graced the veranda of the room with the northern door of the royal residence of Vasnakacharya in Thailand. He was clad in all white vestments, and before his lotus-like face, supreme saints and devotees from far and near had assembled the holy meeting. Then Shiji Maharaj asked, "Let there be a session of questions and answers among you." Upon this, Bhavan Swami asked Bhajananand Swami, "How much Jeev knows about the body and how much knows God as witness?" So the question, and this is a little more, the reason why this is, I think, so difficult for me to understand is because it has to do with a lot of inner thinking and it has to do with knowing ourselves first, knowing our knowledge, knowing our buddhi, as they mentioned it in the Gujarati Vajnana, how that buddhi is related to the soul, and how within that soul, the witness that resides, which is God Himself. So I'm not going to read the whole Vajnana, but the gist of it is, so Maharaj, that's what Maharaj is trying to ask, and well, that's what Bhavan Swami asked. And they say that the buddhi, the knowledge part of our antahkara, that's unison from the tip of our head to the tip of our toe. So, and that is received by the panch indriyos, right? Shabdas, sparsha, rasa, and gata, that, or no, what are the panch indriyos? The skin, eyes, ears, five senses. There you go, thanks. So these five senses receive the external objects, whatever we feel with those five senses. Our buddhi acknowledges that, and then that is further transferred into our soul. And God that is within our soul, then it is the witness of all this that is going on in the world. This happens with each and every individual, each and every soul in this universe and in infinite universes. So the question that that Nityananda Swami asked later is, how can something that is, and we know what is the smallest, most substance in the world? An atom. According to a scientist, it's an atom, right? In the world of spirituality, it's the soul. There's nothing smaller than a soul, and within that soul, God resides as a witness. So Bhagwan and Nityananda Swami asked, how can something that's so big, God is huge, right? So powerful. How does He minimize Himself and reside within something that is so small, which is the small soul? And then, if He resides in the soul, then how is He Murtiman? Meaning, does He have a structure, or is He just is it just the entity itself without form? That's the question that Nityananda Swami asks. And then Maharaj replies, well, when we dream, our dreams are very murtiman, meaning we visualize exact objects. We visualize the people, we visualize the oceans, or whatever we dream of. And a lot of that stuff, can be real. It is real. It exists. But we're in that state of mind that we don't realize it once we get out of that state of mind. And that's one of the examples that Maharaj gives. So Maharaj is like, is that not real, what you're dreaming? Although you're dreaming in your own mind, which is very small, that mind can contain this entire universe, which is huge. And similarly, our soul is very small, and though God is very huge and His power is very huge, God can still be present as the actual being, the Murtiman, in that small soul. And that's how He can, that's how He spread amongst all of us amongst, as we say, Jara Jeta being, in the walls, anywhere, trees, floors, wherever you look, we say that God is everywhere. And that's his power, that's how he resides, that's how he tries to kind of explain this. So that's just the gist of it. That's kind of the gist of this, what's Island 4. And so now my question is, why would something, or someone rather, knowing, God, he's so huge, why would he want to come to a place like this? Why would he want to come to earth and live amongst us who are, in many ways, some it's a different story, but out of the 6 billion population that we have, there's probably 1% of the people that are that are actually praising him. And of that 1%, there's probably even a fraction of that percent that are not even, that are probably ekati, like Pujaswamiji, right? So why would he want to come and reside with us? That's the question that I want to throw out to begin with. If we can go around and answer that.
Why he resides right now?
So why does he want to take birth on this earth?
Well, I mean, he's God, so he's supposed to be merciful. And obviously, there's a lot of sin that happens in the earth, but when he comes down here, it's a way for him to actually free those people of their sins. That's why I'm confused. Are you talking about like right now or back then? Because when he, from what I know, when he came back then, it was because of he wanted to liberate those people. If he did not come, then it would have been very hard to be able to follow the things that he put out, because although how can you really put out like these books and stuff if you're not here yet? You get it? Like, you can't really like teach those things if you at that time weren't there. And then as generations went on, those things got passed down. But I think he came here because we say he's merciful, and so he wants to help the people. So he came down and did that himself. So like he sent down all those other avatars, and I don't know if fail is the right word, but whatever they didn't get the job done. So he actually came down to do it himself, and so I think that's why.
So I understand what you're saying. We'll counteract that. We'll make it a little more interactive. And it's not just for any of them. Why does, and they're still, a lot bigger than, any demos or any of us. Why do they want to come reside with us? Why do they want to go through the struggle of life? And they've gone through more struggle of life than probably you and I have. Krishna Bhagwan, his parents were in jail before they were born, and they had to face a lot of evils. Ganesha Maharaj's parents didn't even have, a drop of water to drink. Forget about food before Maharaj was born, right? So they've gone through a lot of the struggle. So why? And Hardik said that, he wanted, they come down, the avatars come down to help the people to liberate. Okay, that's the point well taken, Pawan.
I don't know, it may sound simple, but it may sound simple, but I think that just for the betterment of us, the reason they do that is so we become better successful, better people, better as a whole,
Okay. Yes. What's Dave?
Doesn't it say in the Shikapa thing, the beginning, that it says I come down as an avatar because there's wickedness in the world, and it's pervading everything, even the soil wickedness is corrupting everything. That's why.
Okay. Jay?
Yeah, I think I agree with what Dave and Marty both said. You said only 1%, were followers. So why come to a place like that? I think to raise that 1%. That's pretty much why.
Okay. Five?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's right basically, but what I think of it is like the story that we all tell in the Kantas that God came out of the pole with a kid. He did it with that one soul. He didn't have to come down. He could have just had like a hurricane take him out or something. I'm just saying in general, but that just shows that God is why God is everywhere around because that one soul was so important to him that he has to come down. So he does it for us.
Okay. There's something about this page before we go on the other side. Krishna, okay.
I agree with what the boy said, that God came down to show us who he is and show us like how we should be living and to help us attain salvation.
Bro. You.
I think if he never came down in the first place to begin with, then nobody would actually believe in him because some people need to see to believe. And then when he did come down, he set a lot of examples. Like when every time you read the Bhajam, I'm sure those sabhas actually happened and those people actually asked those questions. And then it was written down. So I don't know, it gives you knowledge.
I basically agree with everyone else, like they pretty much said it, but I don't know if this is true, but I feel like I heard it somewhere, but didn't he come because one of his bugs asked, like, please let me have a son like you, and then he's like, oh, I'll be born as your son, and I think it's just like, he loves, like, we're his souls, we're his creation, he loves us all, and he comes down here to help us, and our love draws him to us, and we should be drawn to him because of our love for him. So it's kind of like this mutual relationship that we share with him. He's our creator.
Chaku? Trying to hide behind that, sir. Going back to competition.
I don't really have an answer, actually. My thinking is that he comes because he or she or God comes because looks upon us and sees that there is a chaos, there's a unruliness, and we don't understand what's going on. So I think he takes Avatar, he comes down to show us to give us a direction, but at the same time, he comes in our own form so that we believe him what he's doing, as opposed to thinking that he's someone with much more higher power. So as being a normal person, he's showing us the direction, giving us the knowledge, and directing us to a better path for life, and eventually reaching Akshardham. That's my belief.
Okay, why he would come in human form? Because that's even harder. Because then we consider him he's like me. So he's supposed to come like this form.
Nah, he just said it back there. If he came down as like, I don't know, like just a ray of light or whatever, however you want to describe magical, and he did all those things, right, just what he said, it would be very hard for you to, have that, like, that courage inside of you, like, wow, how can I do that? But he came down and did it as one of us, and so you can relate to that. You can say, if he did it, obviously, I could do the same exact thing what he was able to do, and I can follow in his footsteps. If he comes down in whatever a fish or a ray of light and does all these things, how can you emulate that? It's very hard, or not maybe very hard, but it's very hard to put in your mind that, I could do the same thing that a fish just did or whatever. So that's why he came down as human.
So, next question is, those of us that have taken philosophy in college, right? So boring, so intriguing. If can God build a rock that is so big that He Himself cannot lift? Can God make or build a rock that is so big that He Himself cannot lift?
Yes.
Well, then He's all powerful. He should be able to do anything, right?
But he's the one who made it, so that he wouldn't be able to.
So it's obviously there's no right answer here. But what I'm trying to say is, if we think that He's all powerful, and if we think that He comes out on this earth to eliminate our sins, to drag us towards Him, to bring us more close to Him, then He can do the same thing sitting up there. As a matter of fact, Gopananda Swami, justified that. He's like, Bhagwan, if you didn't come down, I can do what you did with your blessings, and you didn't even have to be here.
But that's different. That's like for an example, if Swami's here, then it's a different feeling than if he's like in India right now. That's at the same time.
Right.
If God came down, it would be different than what.
So that's the question. Why is it different? And if it's to eliminate our sins, Swami is capable of being in India and eliminating our sins here.
But he calls you out on it.
He will still do that over there. He's that powerful that there's that relationship and they'll be able to do that. That's the power that he has. We may not realize that, but from their side, they carry that power where they can eliminate. They can whatever you wish for, they can provide. That's the power that they hold.
So I don't get it. What's the question?
So the question is, if it was just to say, He comes out to eliminate our sins, or
He could have done it from up there.
right, so He could.
Yeah, but then if he could have done it up there, then I mean, this is my understanding. Then what's the point in life? If he could have done it up there, then we would have never even had to come down here. If he really wanted to, we didn't have to do all this. But we do, and so that's why he is coming down. It's not a free ticket. He's not just gonna sit him up there and snap his fingers and then boom, you're up there now, and this whole life is finished. So I'm gonna do the same thing, but why would he? Well, he's not taking the test for you. He'll help you through it, but he's not gonna answer the questions for you. So it's the same thing.
Okay, I think he comes here because he has a lot more affinity towards his devotee. That's the first thing. Second thing, I give you the analogy. If there is a car salesman, right? I mean, he's a prominent brand, let's say any BMW or Toyota. Now, there is always a promotion, right? Maybe $1,000 off or something. But there will be once in a while, there will be promotion which is you cannot miss if you're looking for that car. The company has let's say if there are 100 birthday of the company, they will say, you know what we do? This time instead of 5%, we'll give 15%. And he's a big salesman too. He knows how many devotees he has and how many he can grab more if he's there. If he's not there, that's not possible. Because remember, when somebody comes here bigger than usual, then it has a much more power without a limit. And that will work in a favor of him because that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to bring so many people, so many souls, not just one. And I think his work cannot be done by anybody else. That's why once in a while he has to put the promotion out and he has to come himself.
I think, the reason he can get so many more people when he's here is because human form, it's natural for people to develop that love for him. Because like we said, if he's a fish, then who's going to fall in love with a fish? No one. But because he comes in human form and comes and lives like among us, it's easy to develop that relationship with him and to develop that love for him that we need to actually get touch with him.
But the question is okay, first of all, everybody has to understand the question. What is the question? ભગવાન એટલા બધા સમર્થ છે તો એમ કહેશે કે ભગવાનને અક્ષરધામમાં બેઠા બેઠા ઓર અહીં આવીને બરાબર છે બંને રીતે જીવનું કલ્યાણ કરી શકે છે એને અહીં આવવાની કોઈ જરૂર નથી. You don't have to look at our punya and pap, how much good and how much bad we are. This is all about, like this guy says, it's self. So it's like lottery. So he can grab anybody or everybody and take up there without chanting one time Swaminarayan. That's his wish. Bhagavan said, that much I'm powerful. If I wish, I can grab all the souls up there. I don't have to come here. And in his question, his answer, he's repeating again. He had one more line at the end of this answer, right? If I have to come down here in order to take these souls up there, right? तो माराમાં એટલી સામર્થ્ય ઓછી કહેવાય. That means I'm not that powerful. If I have to come here to grab the soul up there, teach or do some educated the souls about my swarup and then take up there, તો એટલી મારામાં ખામી કહેવાય કે છે. ભગવાન એવું કહે છે. Still I am here. I came here. I come, so often on this earth. Why?
Because we want it.
Okay? But he says, why? That's understand. He wanted to, okay.
He can't take us all up there, but he could come down here because we want to be.
Okay, that could be reason. Okay, you wanted to be with him.
If we just look at his timeline when he was here, right, when he was younger, what he did, all the work that he did, he took a lot of the dharma that was here already, and he put it together, condensed it, simplified it, and put it in a way where everybody can apply it easier and understand it. There's no way he was going to do that sitting up there. How was he going to do that? There were already numerous outdoors, and there were more than enough books floating around. But everything was getting washed up. It wasn't as simple to understand as it was. You had people, just meditating in forests, and they weren't able to, achieve. But yeah, so he came and he took everything that was here. When he was 7, 8 years old, he studied all this stuff, took it, condensed it, cut it up, and served it to us in a way where everybody can understand. And he established it. So I think that's something that he can't do sitting over there. He gave us the tools. I think that's one of the primary reasons why he physically came here and did that. He came here and he wrote books. He took what was here, and like I said, he put it together and he just presented it to people in a way that they can understand and use. And I think that's why he physically came here.
No, then what happened when Ramchandra Bhagwan, Ved Vyasji, right? When Ved Vyasji we call Bhagwan also. Then Ramchandra Bhagwan came. Then Sri Krishna Bhagwan came. And in between there is like the Matsya, Katsya, all the avatar are here, right? But these are the main avatar, right? So all those, Rama avatar and Krishna avatar, Ramayana અને શું કહેવાય ભાગવતજી ને મહાભારત હતું જ, right? And in સ્વામિનારાયણ ભગવાન, if you read a Sikshapatri, if you read Vachanamrut, if you read Satsangaji, right? Maharaj, all his talk about the Ramayana and Mahabharata. He didn't create anything new.
Yeah, but I'm not saying, but he still condensed it and he put it in one form. I could give you a room full of encyclopedias, or I could give you a cell phone and you would Google something. It's two different things.
Okay, I understand. Okay, let's say, okay, so he made it shorter basically, right? And in order to follow all the codes, right? Okay, that's your understanding. Let me put it other way. Okay, like Ruchit says, right? When Maharaj ready to leave this earth, right? He says, I wanted to go back to my Akshardham. So when he called a couple of sons and Gopalan Swami ne કહ્યું કે મારા દેહ છોડો તો મારા Gopalan Swami requested કે Maharaj, this is only 49 years, you know, how can you do this? You know, that મારે જે કામ કરવું તે થઈ ગયું. Now, you know, બધું થઈ ગયું છે, હવે it's enough. Now I wanted to go back. એટલે Gopalan Swami raised a question કે મારા તમે જે કર્યું ને એટલું તો તમારા આશીર્વાદથી with your blessing I would do this one in a way in shorter than this time કે અને બીજું okay, when you read Sikshapatri, when you read Rachanamrita, right, and when you talk Swamiji, right, Sikshapatri and Rachanamrita, it's not a little harder, huh?
Than understanding Swamiji.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. It's easy. When you talk to Swami, right? It's easy. And when you read Sikshapatri, it's more harder. When you try to understand Vachranam, it's more harder. So then he made Updesamru, because he cannot sit with each and every single soul. So he made Updesamru. So Updesamru is much better than Sikshapatri. So in order to understand, not
Gopalan Swami could have done better job. Is that what you're saying?
yes.
Yeah. So why did he have to come?
So why did he have to come? This is the whole point.
And from what you're saying, you're attaching a negative connotation to Bhagwan, where there's no negativity in there, right? So if we think in that terms, we will still attach something negative to him, and then we'll be at fault. So, you know, that tells us that may not be the ideal answer. And yeah, Maharaj came to simplify things, but why did not Bhagwan come? Then why did Krishna came? You know, Krishna Bhagwan never wrote a scripture in his entire career. He didn't even establish a religion. So why?
What do you mean by that?
No, he did.
I'm sorry?
What do you mean?
No, during his life.
He did, but someone else wrote.
Yes, right.
Well, he said.
He said that. This is all about the Bhagavad Gita. It's between Krishna and Arjun in Kurukshetra.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like he didn't sit down and, you know, like what
It's like
Maharaj did.
Vachanamrita is the same thing.
Vachanam is the same thing. Maharaj said
Maharaj
that
said that the
and
people-
5 cento rates.
Right. I think
Even Satsang is
Negating the
same
whole
thing.
thing.
Satsang is same thing. Sikshapatri, even Maharaj wrote in a bigger form. Nityananda Swami make it in shorter. And then Maharaj approved. Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, why
Yeah.
you know,
Ramchandraji didn't write anything.
So, the question, what I was gonna say was, would there even be a saint without God? Like they said, Gopalan Swami said he could have done this in 2 years, whatever. Would there be a Gopalan Swami without God though? Like, what was he supposed to do? Like, he was just gonna pull it out of the thin air and say, you know, I could have done this. Where was he gonna learn that? You know, when you're in class, you have the choice of attending class or not attending class. But you know, if your professor is good and you attend his class, then you will be able to understand more. You know, it's a given that you're going to read the book beforehand, but when you go to the class, you understand more. So what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, in a sense, God is that professor. So, you know, by going to him, you understand more. And if that teacher wasn't there, what were you really supposed to learn? I could have given you a biology book, but how much were you going to read until you understood it?
No,
So even before that, you know, would there even be a Gopalan Swami without God? What was he going to do?
Let me explain you that question. So Gopalan Swami and Maharaj, they both came from where? Same school. Right? Akshardham is a school, right? Maharaj is a professor and Gopalan Swami is a class A student.
Right.
Right? So they already studied there. He teach him.
Right, and then
he taught him and
right.
he studied. So, you know, he was already professor.
Right, but would you want to learn from the teacher himself or the person who got the A? I've gotten plenty of A's, but would you want to learn calculus from me or the guy who taught it to me?
But
It's a different thing.
no, the second thing, no, you in his method. Okay, okay. If you know the difference between a professor and student, then is the question raised, right? But if you don't know the professor, and you are so dumb and you meet one of the A class student, and if he or she try to teach you, you don't get it? ઓકે ભગવાને ગોપાળાન સ્વામીનો ડાયરેક્ટ આપણે ધારો કે સ્વામીનો તને યોગ થયો હોય, રાઈટ? ભગવાન એ અવતાર લીધો ને આ બધું લખાયું ને આપણે મૂર્તિઓ સ્થાપી એટલે આપણે સમજીએ કે ભગવાન આ ફોર્મમાં આવ્યા હતા, બરાબર? પણ કોઈ સંતનો તને સીધો જ ગોપાળાન સ્વામી જેવા સત્પુરુષનો તને ઓળખાણ થાય, બરાબર? સ્વામી જેવા સંતનો, અને એમ કે ભાઈ જો આ બધા વર્તમાન કહેવાય, આ રીતે જીવાય, આવી રીતે ભગવાન નામ જીવાય, આ રીતે જીવન જીવાય, આ રીતે ભજન કરીને ભગવાનનું ભજન કરી અને જીવન જીવે તો પછી આપણનું દેહને અંતે આ જીવ છે અક્ષરધામમાં જાય. અને તને બધું તને એવું નહીં લાગતું કે સ્વામી જોડે મળ્યા પછી કેટલી બધી લાઈફ સિમ્પલ થઈ ગઈ? હે? તો ગોપાળાન સ્વામી કેવા હતા? બરાબર છે? એટલે ભગવાન ગોપાળાન સ્વામીએ એ રીતે કહ્યું કે મહારાજ તમે જે કર્યું ને આ દુનિયાને મને જીવને તમારા ધામમાં લાવવા માટેનું એટલું કાર્ય તો કે તમારા આશીર્વાદથી, નાટ વિથ હિઝ ઓન પાવર, તમારા પાવરથી તમારા બ્લેસિંગથી હું કરી નાખત એમ. તમારે અહીં આવવાની જરૂર જ નથી. તમે એમ કહો છો મેં બધું મંદિરો સ્થાપ્યા, આચાર્ય કરી દીધા, સાધુ કરી દીધા, સ્ક્રિપ્ચર્સ બનાવી દીધા, હરિભક્તો કરી દીધા, કંઠી બનાવી દીધી, મારા બનાવી દીધી, તિલક ચોલ્લો બનાવી દીધો, બધું કરી નાખ્યું.
Right, but then in the future, whose legacy has been left behind? Then in that situation, God's legacy wouldn't have been left behind. Then Govarna Swami would have raised those temples, right? Could you make an argument for that?
But it's still relating to God. Govarna Swami will never promote himself.
Right, I know, but I'm saying you can get that kind of like wrong connotation from that where.
But that's what we would think. That's what I'm saying. That's what we would think. That's where we're at fault. You see
But how are you at fault? I don't understand.
We're at fault.
If God didn't come down and he just sent the Swami to do all that and he built all these temples, and I thought, all right, so now this Swami is actually the real deal. How am I wrong? I mean, he built the temples.
Right.
So
no, he would teach you the right thing.
Right. And that's kind of what you're saying is happening, right?
He's not
you
like
see
us.
That happening right now. Even though Maharaj himself came down, he wrote scriptures, he wrote everything else.
Right, but the thing is, if we think about in real life, God built all those places, right?
Right.
Now, God isn't coming every day to tell me, oh, I built this building and I built that building. So if he doesn't tell me that, how do I know? I know because of, from history, from the books, right? But if in those books it had said, all right, Govarna Swami wrote this, right? So now, if you look at another scenario, right, if I'm present day, Govarna Swami built those temples, I'm a new person coming in. I read the book, I do that. Now, who's higher for me? It would be Govarna Swami. He's not coming down and telling me, oh yeah, no, I think you made a mistake and it was actually God that built this, or he told me to do it. No one's telling you to do that. You're understanding this from the books.
Right, but it'll be clear.
Tell you that.
He's gonna come down and tell me? He's
You
gonna.
don't think that those people are the ones that are saying it. You think God.
But if that happened, I'm saying, is he gonna come down and tell me that?
Even Gopalanand Swami built temples by default. When he's doing for someone else, he's automatically bigger than him. Does it make sense? If he built the temple for Lord Swaminarayan, right? And Gopalanand Swami built it, it's automatically defaulted as that is bigger than him.
But the way you're saying it is, he did all of this. That's what you're trying to make it seem like. So if he did all of that, then who really is?
But he would specify. That's what
He would specify.
And he specified before even doing it. He said, with your blessing, God, I'm capable. Without his blessing, even he said he's not capable. So he specified that without even, and he would specify that. When Swamiji does anything, he said, oh, Bhagwan does. Right?
To me, it boils down to only one thing. And it's only one thing. When Lord Swaminarayan comes from Akshardham, is only one purpose. And that purpose is to, as I mentioned first line, when I said before, he has affinity for his devotee.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And that's why he comes here. That's to me is that reason. I mean, there can be something else beside that.
I have a question. How would God, anybody would have affinity to the God if he doesn't, they don't know? How would they have the affinity? How would God would have the affinity from this? Because there are no devotees of him. There are no devotees of him. Until he came, there was no devotees of him.
But see, he had a purpose that nobody knew him.
What I'm saying is there was nobody that loved him. There was Krishna avatar. People probably loved Krishna. When Ram was, the people loved Ram, right? Until Krishna came, nobody knew Krishna.
Yes.
So how would they be the devotee of Krishna?
No one promoted him, but if Maharaj didn't come, then he would have sent Gopal Swami who would have promoted Maharaj, and that would have happened. You know, and same thing, Krishna Bhagavan, if he didn't come, he would have sent someone else to promote him, and that's how we get the affinity there. So I don't know if that.
No. What they're saying is that because to have the affinity towards his devotees, but he's got no devotees.
No, but if he sends Gopal Swami, he will gather the devotees, and then that Maharaj. And
no, here he's not talking about Gopalan Swami.
But we're not talking about
now he's talking different topic now.
When Swaminarayan Bhagwan had a conversation with the Gopal.
Wait, एक मिनट छोकरा बोला तो क्या
He's saying that if God comes down, if he loves the devotees, then how did he come down? Because before he had no devotees.
Right.
That's his question.
Because our understanding is.
He's not talking about Gopalan Swami. He's talking about like people like me and you.
Right. Because our understanding is that, before Swaminarayan Bhagavan came down, he didn't have the Swaminarayan Satsaki as his devotee.
No, and also wait. People, if you read this scripture, they're saying that Brahmaji or Virat Narayan prayed 50 years of his life, and then God came. Here we're not talking about that. Here we say okay because he loved the devotees and they came down. He came down. Right. So what happened to Virat Narayan's 50 years of all the top and all his devotion? How does that come in play?
I don't know. Well, that's something. It's his goodwill that he did the talk for himself. There's nothing that I don't know.
I mean, do you guys believe that?
What?
So I don't think his stuff had anything to do with that. I think that was.
No, there is.
No, but I think that was
scripture says that.
The scripture says then you have to believe it. You cannot go against scriptures, man.
That's a madhyam. That's a madhyam.
It's not. No. That's not the excuse.
But Durvasa Rishi's staff is a madhyam, and Bhagavan himself, this happened because of my will.
The sap is sap was to give it was a 2-minute episode. Okay.
Right.
It was a 1-minute episode. This is 50 years of Brahma. Okay, come on.
I don't think that.
Yeah. And you know how many years?
50 years of Brahma.
How many million years?
For this one Brahma, I think 50 years.
No. That's why we are here.
Hold on. You want to confuse it more?
Confusing more than.
You want to get it more confused?
There
are billions of galaxies. How do you know where to go? How does God know where to go? Why did he come here?
It's 50 years of Brahma, this galaxy.
Why did he come here?
If you relate that to the infinite galaxies out there, that 50 years is nothing.
He doesn't know.
Why did he come here? What was so good about these people? That he loved here and nobody else.
He might have been here and over there at the same time.
He was all over. He's omnipresent. That's the whole idea.
That's what I was gonna say. Is God everywhere and nowhere? God is.
Yeah, he's right. He nowhere means it's not in a mic form. He's nowhere. A mic form, he's everywhere. That's what he's trying to say.
વ્યતિરેકપણે બધે છે ને અન્વયપણે ક્યાં
અન્વય પ્રમાણે એકલા છે અન્વય વ્યતિરેક. That's what he's talking
people
about.
get more confused. What is that?
But anyway, so what were you saying?
So, okay, we won't go that route. Let's simplify this. But, there's one thing. What is one thing that ties every single soul in the world, in the universe, that every single soul in the universe craves and almost surrenders to? There's only one thing that whether it's us who are indulged in Maya, whether it's Bhagavan or Bhagavan ourselves.
Pleasure.
pleasure.
Love. That is the only thing that to my knowledge, I don't know if this is documented somewhere, but to my knowledge, this is the only thing that every single soul surrenders to. We would surrender to fame, we would surrender to a beautiful woman, we would surrender to money. All of these things, that's all these Maya views. But obviously, Bhagwan and Bhagwan Evam, they would not surrender to these things. They would only surrender to love. And in Sikshapati, the definition of bhakti, says I'm sorry. Yeah, and it's Mahatma Jnani Sahit Je Prem Nishchay Bhagwan Mahan. That is the definition of bhakti, and that's why one of the other Brahmacharya says bhakti supersedes everything else. Everything else is not false, but bhakti supersedes. And it is because of this bhakti.
Bhakti is
What's bhakti?
What is bhakti?
It's Mahatma Jnani Sahit Prem Je Bhagwan Mahan. Mahatma means with mahima, with the importance, the knowledge of the importance of God, and you love Him with that knowledge. So it is this love that drags Him here, that drags someone so powerful here to amongst us.
એવું લખી છે મહાત્મા સાહિત્ય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ ભગવાનની વિશે પ્રેમ એ ભક્તિ.
Is Sri Krishna Keva? But I think then, yeah, I don't want to digress too much. Then we go into Sarvapari and Avtari Ved, which I clearly don't have too much knowledge in and I'm capable of talking about. But so is this? So Maharaj says, upon this, Sriji Maharaj said. So all just like kind of what happened here, I think we can kind of assume similar thing must have happened there when Maharaj asked a question, and no one was pleased with his answer. Our Bhagwan was not pleased with anyone's answer, and then he said, upon this, Sriji Maharaj said, God's intention in assuming incarnation is this. There are devotees with intense love for God. Submitting to their devotion, God assumes any form according to the desire of the devotees of bestowing bliss upon them. Then He fulfills all the wishes of the devotee. The devotee has a palpable form, as he has a body. So God also assumes gross outlook and assumes a gross form and sports with His devotees. So, it's basically saying it is this love that's bringing Him here, and because we're in this form, He takes this form, as a lot of you guys say that, so we can relate to Him, so we can play with Him. He can play with us. That's what Lord Krishna did, or, Shammana did the same thing. You don't have to be a Swaminarayan Satsani for Bhagwan. To him, everyone's equal. As we say, to Swamiji, everyone's equal. But there are people that love Him more than, others. And to those, these are the people that He's coming down to please more than the others. But the elimination of sins, or getting establishing this religion, these are all side products. In Kathas, you hear an example of, you put yourself in a dark room, you go in a corner, light a match to find something. Your purpose was to find something in that dark room. But after lighting the match, the entire room lit up, and you were able to see in every single corner. So your purpose, Bhagwan's purpose is to please His devotees, but all these other things are default benefit. Yeah. And He may behave with the devotee as a son, as a companion, as a friend, or as a relative. Because of such close relationship, the devotee cannot maintain dignity of God. God plays with the devotee as the devotee wishes. And there's examples of this. When Lakshmiji, she decided that she wanted to surrender to God. Back, many years even before Maharaj came. And in Varta, where our mandir is right now, she made the sankalp that she wanted to reside with Bhagwan, and Bhagwan said, not now. We will reside here later. And when Maharaj came, he built a temple at that spot, and right now there's Lakshmanadev present there. In Krishna Bhagwan, many similar stories. The 16,000 wives that we all talk about. These were angels, apsaras. and they were princesses. They were once abducted by this Raksha called Bhumasur. And Krishna Bhagavan, he relieved them. But because they were abducted by another male, back then, and even now, that's considered that your
Property.
yeah, right. And so in that case, they said, Bhagavan, I can't go anywhere. So he, being Bhagavatsal Bhagavan that he is, he accepted those people and he made them their wives. He made them queens. Bhagavan, this is what Bhagavan does. They had the pleasure, they had the desire to be with Bhagavan, and Bhagavan did this for us. When Ram Bhagavan, Naraji made a mistake. Naraji is such a great saint, but one time he he was very attracted to a princess and wanted to get married to her, right? Jayanti. Amrish Raja, it's in Shikshapati, the name of his daughter, Naraji became attracted to. And Naraji's face turned that of a monkey. And Bhagwan said, this is not acceptable to my saint. And Naraji and Maharaj made his face that of a monkey because so he doesn't fall in love with Jayanti. And Naraji got upset, so he went and gave a curse to Bhagwan that since you made me a monkey, I'm giving you a curse that you, in order to find your wife one day, you will have to take the help of a monkey. So Ram Bhagwan, went crazy in the jungle looking for Sita, and then finally monkeys, Hanumanji and his Sena came to his aid. So Bhagavan puts himself out there for us, and only us, only his devotees. This is the love that drives him here, and all the other things are very secondary. And as we are very aware, Swamiji does pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but then they say that every avatar has its own incarnation, has its own work, and God gives them the power according to whatever the need is.
Right.
So Ramchandraji came for what? Sri Krishna came for what? Vamana avatar was there, then Vara avatar was there for a reason.
Right.
So where is that love? I don't see the love here.
I still see love, but there's love all over.
कृष्ण भगवान तो महाभारत करवाया था, right? महाभारत करवाया था.
No, yeah, I don't think he was here to do Mahabharata.
I mean, that was the biggest thing he did.
He did. That was the biggest thing that happened around him at the time of him, but I don't think he did it.
He fought the war.
Well, I think we can discuss that later, because I don't have too many answers that I don't want to confuse.
Well, we can answer that, I guess.
So I mean, just to finish up, this is where Swami comes. I think you mentioned, all these scriptures and this and that are done, and without Bhagavan, we would not do it. We can take our own example. Without Swamiji's physical presence here, we build this, hall, and we have satsang happening here every week. We gather, everything's going so smoothly. So, does he even need to come here? This guy's like, who? Swamiji.
That's a clarify.
But every day we desire that he would come. Despite his health, we still desire. We have that inner desire that we want to see him. And he has that inner desire to come here as well. Why is that? And every time he's here, he always says, it is your love. He tells people in sabhas over there, he doesn't take anything back with us. When you call him, he's like, give me some love. Bring some love for me, that's it. So all of these facts, I think, justify that this is all that they're looking for. This is all the main reason why he's here. This is why, when we sing the Kirtan Ladila, so this is the reason. He's Ladila, and he comes here laughed it out, meaning to play with us, to have fun with us, just to fulfill our desire. This is kind of my understanding. All the other questions will direct to Brothers Benjamin. So,
That was number 4.
that was 4 out of 5.
Oh, 4.
You can sum it up better than me.
Saya એક ક્વેશ્ચન અંદરથી 5 ક્વેશ્ચન પાછા. પહેલો ચોથું વચન અમૃત. ઇન્દ્રિયોની અંદર જીવનું જાણપણ અને જીવની અંદર ભગવાનનું જાણ. બરોબર. ત્યાર પછી 5મા વચનમાં ગોપાળન સ્વામીનો પ્રશ્ન. એમાંથી મહારાજે આ પ્રશ્ન પૂછ્યો. સ્વયં સંતોએ જવાબ આપ્યો. મહારાજે શંકા કરીને બધી વાતને કાપી નાખી. અને મહારાજે અંતે જવાબ આપ્યો કે અમે આ પૃથ્વી પર અવતાર મેળવવાનું કારણ એક ફક્ત અમારા જે પ્રેમી ભક્તો એને લાલ લડાવવા માટે.